Hello fantasy managers, and welcome back to another video from myself, Will, and fantasyfootballhub.co.uk. As always, in this video we're going to be having a look at how my team got on last game week before moving on to my team, my transfers and my captaincy ahead of the upcoming game week. Let's get into it. Okay, so briefly touching on last game week then. Took out Cresswell and De Bruyne for a -4. Brought in Cancelo and Gundogan. 31 points between them. Absolutely over moon with those two. Really pleased with how the game week went overall. 65 points with that -4, so 61. I don't really want to spend too much time looking at my bench. Areola and Soucek there, with massive scores. To be honest with you, though, I was never really considering playing Areola. I was never really considering playing Soucek. I guess that's always the risk when you've got a good bench. And usually I don't like having a good bench, partly for this reason. But just played the bench boost. I wish I played the bench boost this week because obviously it scored a lot more than it did the previous week, but that's FPL, that's the way it goes. Elsewhere in the team, Diaz and Chilwell coming in with clean sheets. Grealish, continuing to churn out the points. And Antonio, he looks like he could have scored a hell of a lot more. Yeah, overall, can't complain. Gone from 3.8k to 2.4k, the highest rank of the season. Aiming for, I'd like to get another top 1,000 finish now. I think go for my fourth top 1,000 finish. So that would be pretty cool to get. Maybe even try and go a little bit higher. Okay, before we move on to my team and transfers for the upcoming game, I just wanted to briefly touch on this graphic that was pulled together by Ben Krelling. Go follow him on Twitter if you haven't already. The double game week guru. I think it's interesting. Well, I think it's useful just to be aware of, the upcoming blank and double game week. So, as you can see, you've got the team down the left there. So, Man City starting at the top. And they're likely to have a double game week in 24, where they're likely to play Tottenham and or Everton and Southampton. So that's going to be a fairly good, double game week for them. And then, you've got Southampton and Everton there with possible double game weeks, depending on, what happens in the FA Cup. Again, worth following Ben Krelling for the the latest news, and of course I'm going to be doing videos on double game weeks, on blanks and double game weeks as we get closer to this happening. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you're not already. But I think it's just important to bear these things in mind. So obviously there's going to be a big double game week in 26, and as you can see there's various different permutations that could happen. And there's also going to be a big blank game week in 29. So those are the two big things that we're sort of going to have to navigate. There's also going to be a likely double game week in 27. But that's going to be a smaller one, similar to the one in 24. As I said, I'm going to cover that in much more detail in later videos, but I do think it is just worth being aware of. Okay, so this is how the team is shaping up for the upcoming game week. Now, I've temporarily put the captaincy on Cancelo. I do think that this is one of those game weeks where there is an opportunity to take a little bit of a captaincy punt. I think probably the obvious route, and I'm certainly not ruled out going this way, but I'm certainly not set on Cancelo. But I think probably the obvious route is, a player like Salah. To be honest, before the Kane injury, my planned transfer was Bamford to Kane and Captain Kane. I put the money in the bank for that, got 5.8 million in the bank. That was sort of the planned move. But, with Kane injured, I don't think there's an obvious captaincy candidate. The thing I like about Cancelo is that he's basically playing in midfield. He's basically playing as a pretty attacking midfielder, certainly in the last game. And even if he's not an attacking midfielder, he's an attacking fullback. So, he's got a great chance of getting an assist. He's got a chance of getting a goal, as you saw in the last game. And of course, he's got a really, really good chance of getting clean sheets. So he's got multiple point scoring avenues, which I really like as a captaincy candidate. And as we've seen, he is capable of a monster haul. Elsewhere, I've got 5.8 million in the bank, and it's kind of like, what do I do with this money? As I said, the plan was to do Bamford to Kane. So even though I was thinking of getting rid of Bamford, I do think it's kind of worth just flagging that I still think that he's a really good pick. So this is total shots inside the box for all players, every position over the season so far. And as you can see, Bamford is top there with 58 shots inside the box for the season to date. I mean, I think quite a quite a lot of these shots aren't, necessarily really, really great chances. But nevertheless, for 6.7, and I got him for, I think, 5.9 or so. So, he's super cheap, and I know that we've got a lot of people have got a lot of money in the bank at the moment, but I do think that that potentially could change. So I'm not that keen on getting rid of Bamford, actually. I mean, even if you switch him over to the last what is this, last 7 game weeks, right? So just having a look at more recent form there, he's still coming inside the top 10 for shots inside the box. So I think for a player of that value, and given the fact that Leeds are still pretty attacking, then I think that he's still a really good option. So I'm also a little bit hesitant to remove Bamford at the moment. So just going back to my team then, and looking at the potential transfers that I'm thinking of making. At the moment, and again, I'm recording this sort of on the Friday morning, I think my thought process could potentially change. But at the moment, what I'm currently thinking is to bank a transfer. And I know that does seem weird, with the 5.8 million in the bank, you think, you've got to sort of spend that money. But I quite like all the picks for this game week. I think if I was going to do a transfer, I might do Soucek to Son and then bench Bamford against Leicester away, because I don't think that's a massively good match for him. I think a lot of people have got Son at the moment, and they're probably thinking, does his creativity reduce with Kane? I think it probably does. But, there aren't too many good, premium assets at the moment. So I think that if you've got Son, I think he's certainly worth a hold. Is he worth bringing in? That's debatable. I think the one thing that does count in his favour with Kane being out is he's probably going to be on penalties, I would have thought. But, I do think that his creativity will suffer. And, him creating chances for Kane, he's likely to get less assists. And also Kane creating chances for him, he's likely to get less goals. So I do think that Spurs overall will suffer, and Son's output will probably suffer as well with Kane out. So I'm not massively keen on that move. It is one that I'm certainly considering. The other player that I do like the look of actually is Sadio Mane. I thought that he looked really, really good last night, but I've already got 2 Liverpool players. They're not in massively great form at the moment, so I'm a little bit hesitant to do that. I can't also do Soucek to Mane, so it would probably involve getting rid of another one of my midfielder slots. And I like Grealish, I like Fernandes, and I like Gundogan as well. So at the moment, my current thoughts are that I'll probably bank a transfer, have 2 free transfers in the following game week, and then just reassess. In terms of captaincy, as I said, it's currently on Cancelo. I think that he's a really good shout this game week, but it could well change. It could well flip it to Salah. As always, I'll be reading my final team, my transfers, and my captaincy on Twitter. So if you're not following me, drop me a follow on there. It's FFH_Will is my Twitter handle. I'll leave a link in the description for that. If you want to try out Fantasy Football Hub completely free for 7 days, then just go to fantasyfootballhub.co.uk/free trial. Leave a link in the description for that. But otherwise, good luck for the upcoming game week, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.